What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple Newtype, and in this episode we're returning to the manga Gundam Walpurgis. Last time Mashido rode the Masala Glashton. He fought against Elise. Is that what we were calling her? I forget. And Thane added a high booster to his Zeta 2, only for it to be destroyed. This time, Neo Zeon gets a new giant mobile suit. Someone makes a sacrifice to save the Yulong, and Mashido becomes Shamal and activates his secret weapon. So let's get into this. Mashido in his mind palace tells Overon to stop. Fiorina's talisman glows. A cloaked man in Mashido's mind says he is Shamal. He reveals that he looks like Mashido. He tells Mashido he is the real you. His body belongs to Sirocco, and he will soon have it back. The man puts his fingers in his mouth and activates the sleeper agent inside of him. A light emits from Overon. Even the Yulong can see it. Captain Hermie hesitates. She doesn't know what she should do next. The Overon instantly takes out some of the PMC mobile suits and rushes their well-cast ship to the flower garden. He looks at the bridge and asks for Raymond. Raymond realizes this isn't Mashido. This is his king. He says he is no king, but he does need Raymond's help. They find debris from Zeta 2. Hermie can't hear the crew. She thinks back to her brother, who says he will always be by her side. The flower garden allows Mashido to dock. Raymond calls him the second coming of their messiah. He says he is here to serve him, but Mashido is more concerned with learning who the Glashton pilot is. A girl pops out of the cockpit. Raymond thinks it is Fiorina, but it isn't her. Mashido takes off his glasses and says that this is Conchetta Fili, Fiorina's sister. He wants to get rid of the Ayug that killed him before they bring peace to the Earth sphere. The crew is waiting for Hermie to give them an order. Do they chase down the Overon, or do they search for Thane? She finally gets her voice back and tells the crew to chase down the PMCs. She hopes that Thane can forgive him. Also, both Hermie and Thane are captains. I hate it when there are two captains on a ship. I know Thane is a squad captain, but still. The well-cast PMC is now working for Shamal, which is what I will call Mashido when he takes off his glasses. They head towards Ambrosia. Shamal activates Orpheus, the Psycho Flare. The asteroid shakes. Hermie has Elise with her, and the crew's confused. They are going to use her as a soldier instead of a prisoner. She wants her to sneak aboard the enemy ship and retrieve Fafnir, pirate style. The crew thinks Hermie has gone insane. Roxana thinks she is leading them towards doom. The clan members and the PMC wonder what this giant weapon is. It turns out it is a giant fusion reactor. The Psycho Flare Orpheus was transported from the Jupiter sphere in UC-0084 and was handed over to the clan in UC-0088. This plan was created by Sirocco, but it didn't reach the Earth sphere until after his death. This has a giant megaparticle beam weapon called the Psycho Flare. Anyone close by becomes docile and lucid. It also has autonomous fighters to protect it. In the past, we already made strong connections between Mariaism and Sirocco, and this just solidifies it. This is Angel Halo by another name. The Psycho Flare fires. Everyone watches on, including Ernardo holding an escape pod. Shamal says there is no creation without destruction. Meanwhile, Fiorina can sense her sister, Conchetta. Fiorina believes that Ernardo and Hermie are the knights that can take down the king. Many gaze at Haman and are confused, considering she was declared dead. They are overlooking their new unit, the Delphenium. The TRX-007 Delphenium is a copy of the Dendrobium made by the clan. This is supposed to function as a giant exosuit for the core mobile suit. There is no designation between the core mobile suit and the exo unit, like the Dendrobium and GPO-3. The mobile armor form looks like Dendrobium, but the mobile suit form looks like Psycho Gundam. Its main weapon is a twin megaparticle cannon and an eye field in the left arm. Other weapons include Vulcan guns and large cluster missiles. This was abandoned and considered a poor imitation as Anaheim Electronics controlled the supply chain. This thing takes a lot of G's, and they need a pilot who can handle this. The Yulong goes combat ready. Their mobile suit team heads out with their goal of stealing the Fafnir. They call this Operation Hornet Sting. Shamal fires the Psycho Flare, taking out some of the Yulong's Nemos. Someone tries to snipe the Overon, but he is able to dodge. The sniper was Bernardo and his Zaku machinery. He is amazed he sensed his attack. Sniping isn't going to work on him. The Yulong spots Bernardo. It must mean that Haman is close by. Hermie reminds us that Bernardo is her brother. Thank you, because I completely forgot about that plot point. Major Jesse informs the captain that Elise is nowhere to be found. They go to find her. Elise refuses to be a pawn in all of this. All of a sudden, she senses something. A barrage of cluster missiles attack the Psycho Flare. It happens to be the Delphenium. The person they got to pilot this happens to be Thane. Shamal laughs and says that this is such an outdated machine. He fires off his Psycho Flare once again, but the Delphenium can take it with its eye field. It transforms into mobile suit form. Roxana can get an ID on the Delphenium. Shamal continuously calls Thane an old type. The Delphenium rushes in. Shamal fires the Psycho Flare once again. The Delphenium is able to dodge this time. Remember the Dendrobium, the Gundam development project, and everything that happened in 0083 was swept under the rug and barely anyone knows about it. This happens to be created by a group that goes by storm. They broke off from Anaheim Electronics. However, Axis returning changed everything. Fiorina tells Haman that the clan was able to resurrect Dendrobium and Psycho Gundam tech with modern technology. She thinks that the Overon might have an advantage in this situation over Thane simply because of the Grimmery system. Roxana says to take this opportunity to move in. I'm getting Ramius and Badriel vibes from these two. Delphenium transfers back into mobile armor form. Hermie was able to find Elise. Thane stops the Delphenium instantly, taking G's to the face. This allows the enemy to move ahead, allowing him to get a target. Hermie could tell that the pilot of the Delphenium is Thane. The Yulong uses the shadow of the Psycho Flare to hide their presence until the very last moment. Leonardo is out of time, but still takes time to note that his sister is growing. We flash back to Leonardo finding the remains of Zeta 2. Thane wakes up, says that they must find Mashido, and then passes out once again. They get him to an infirmary. Leonardo wants to be the pilot of the Delphenium, but it puts great strain on the body, and Haman still needs him. Thane volunteers to pilot this. He tells Haman that Leonardo is someone from a Federation military family, and his sister is the captain of the Yulong. Leonardo is looking all glimmy Toto up in here. He tells Thane to be careful out there. The G's are going to be brutal on his body. Back in the present, Thane curses the doctors for not giving stronger pain meds. Shamal commends his skills, even though he is an old type. The Overon Glashton lashes on to the Delphenium. As the two fight, Thane hears Mashido's voice telling him not to do it. Shamal says, "Fear my hidden subarms with beam sabers." Thane breaks free of the Delphenium's grip. He says not to underestimate an old type. Shamal can sense someone helping Thane. It's Mashido trapped inside his mind palace. He wonders why a fake personality is holding him back. The Overon drops their rifle, but Shamal uses that weapon like a wired bit and fires towards the Yulong. They are too slow to evade, but Leonardo does a Mulaflaga and deflects the beam, destroying his mobile suit. Leonardo's Space Ghost tells Hermie that she has to find her own path now. We flash to the past, where Leonardo joins Haman's ranks. She knows he was formerly an AUG member. All he wants is freedom for Spacenoids. Haman tells him to be by her side. Currently we see Kara, Ilya, Yuri Hassler, even Professor X is there. He says he will fight even if it costs him his life. In the present, Haman is infuriated and gets into the Demeter. Raymond wants to buy time for Shamal, but tear gas floods the bridge. It is Major Jesse's team. Elise gets into the Fafnir. However, when she gets in, she is met with Conchetta, who points a gun at her. She asks if they have a box on their ship that they can't open. It contains what she calls Zero. They wonder if it could be used to fight against Overon, but Conchetta says only her and her sister can open it up, which means they have to take her with them. Neozeon calls for a temporary truce with the AUG. Hermie agrees and decides to work together with the Demeter. They should only focus on the Overon. The Grimmery system stops Delphenium in his tracks. That is when the Demeter and its funnels attack. Haman says, "I will have you, or I will kill you." Conchetta's talisman glows as she approaches the box. Fiorina is with her, though she's just a Force Ghost. The two open up the box to reveal a Masala that is glowing. Conchetta gets into the mobile suit. The Fafnir interrupts Shamal and Haman. She doesn't like Shamal and wishes Mashido would come back. The Demeter and Fafnir work together to take down the Overon, but Shamal activates the Grimmery system. The Grimmery system makes the Yulong's instruments malfunction. The Masala launches. The mobile suits are helpless to the Grimmery system, but the Masala comes rushing in. That is when Shamal hears the voices of the women from when he was Sirocco. They say that he shouldn't live. He wonders if this is Rekoa or perhaps Sarah. It is like that terrible Star Wars movie, but instead of the collective Sith souls, it's just all the Newtype Zeta bitches. Overon is also affected by the Eldridge effect and can't move. The Masala rushes in and just like old times, she penetrates Shamal and Overon. Shamal makes Sirocco face. Classic Sirocco. And that will do it for this episode. The sleeper agent inside of Mashido has finally activated. Now Neozeon and the Ayuk work together temporarily to take down Shamal and the Overon. Also, I didn't mean to do these videos and the Astray videos at the same time. That is a completely different clan in those videos. Next time the Psycho Flare reveals its true form, we will meet Haifan, who was second in command to Sirocco during Zeta, and Mashido returns and puts back on the glasses. But that'll do it for now, Newtypes. Remember to use rope in your mind palace instead of chains. Peace.